Hello, my name is Albert Gurry, and welcome to another installment of Slammin Synapses. If you're viewing me through YouTube, you'll see a subscribe button up here. Click on that, keep up to date with the latest ongoings here. If you want to drop me a comment, there's a box below. If you have a phone or otherwise, there's ways of doing that there, so take advantage of those. This segment's going to be submitted for possible inclusion to the PW Insider family of websites. That's pwinsider.com, pwinsiderelite.com, and pwinsiderextranoe.com. You can also check them out on Twitter at pwinsider.com or on Facebook at pwinsider. Like I said many times before, and I'll always say it again, the Elite site is a great site to go to. Lots of great audio, lots of great video, great paid site I should say. Lots of good interviews, lots of good times, lots of enjoyable content, so check it out. Sorry it's been a while since I've been with you last. If you've seen my latest segments, you see that there's been some gaps in it. Been having a lot of issues scheduling wise as well as family wise, so haven't been able to join you on the way that I was able to do before, and not sure when that's going to be corrected, but I'm gonna try to come back at you at least 2 or 3 times a month. If I have to use my phone, I will do that, and you've seen me do that many times before. But just want to give you a heads up on 2 situations, so if you are following this on a regular basis, then you know why. So, bunch of topics to go into. The first, just a quick one, with I'm sure most of you have heard about the Ring of Honor situation with regards to their internet pay-per-view feed. I have to give props to them in terms of how they handle it. I mean, they didn't pass the buck. It's like, this was our mistake. This is what we want to do to rectify it. We want to make sure that you guys come back to us and view us on a regular basis. The blunt honesty of it all was just refreshing. It's like, wow. It wasn't like, okay, it was the website's fault. It wasn't we didn't anticipate this type of thing. Well, it's like everything they took responsibility for, they took ownership of it, and they're going to work towards getting that better. Now, myself, I watch Netflix on my iPad, but not often. I do utilize it for YouTube purposes, but the fact of watching something on a computer, just, I don't know. Like if you have YouTube and Netflix and Hulu, for that matter, but for some reason when it comes to other things, it's a bit hard for me to watch. But one of these days I will take a look at their latest pay-per-view, internet pay-per-view, and give you thoughts on it, so stay tuned. Secondly, a story about, and if you saw my Facebook, my main Facebook, you saw a segment where I referenced The Cosby Show quite a few times with regards to one episode called, if you want to view it on YouTube, it's called Soup. Now, if you've seen my previous segments, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, just a refresher. Basically, it's with regards to the soup company that wants to be other things, that basically says, hey, we're not soup anymore. We're not just soup anymore. Now, to Theo Huxtable, person on the show, said, you know, that's an insult to people who have who have enjoyed your product, and the fact that you're just disregarding them to try to do other things kind of backfired on him, because he pointed out, it's like, you know, we do all this other stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, we're still soup. And that resonated with them, with the corporate people, that they wanted to hire him. Now, how that relates with wrestling, WWE wants to do all this other kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, they're a wrestling company, and it seems like every day they're becoming more and more ashamed of that, because nowadays they're saying we're not just wrestling anymore, when they really should be saying we're still wrestling, we just happen to do other stuff. And the problem with trying to branch out into other stuff and being ashamed of what you're doing is that you try to do compelling television. You can do a compelling wrestling product. Believe it or not, you can do that. If you look at NWA from the 80s, if you look at World Class Championship Wrestling, if you look at The transition to USWA, for instance, if you watch UWF, you could do compelling wrestling television and still do compelling TV. If you're trying to do compelling TV and just blow wrestling out the water, then why are you putting on a wrestling show? Why do you have this show that has wrestling on it if you're going to be ashamed to admit that, hey, we're a wrestling product? That's the problem nowadays. It's like for some reason in their head they're afraid to admit that they're a wrestling product. That's what they are. That's what you guys are. It's like you're professional wrestling. We turn into the program for professional wrestling. We don't watch it for the comedy. We don't watch it for your other skits that you do. We don't watch it for whatever you think to pass off as compelling television. We watch it for the wrestling. I mean, that's why we watch. That's why your shows reach. That's why Raw is reaching 1,000 episodes, because people that want to watch professional wrestling. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. We're there to watch wrestling. And they do have 3-hour Raws coming up, and I feel sorry. I really feel sorry for the people that are going to spend their hard-earned money to go to a Raw taping, because I've been to many 2-hour Raw tapings, and it seems like all their product is like skits or talking or blah blah blah, and not wrestling. And the complaint that I've heard from many people is that it's like they go to a Raw show and they're very disappointed in it, because they go anticipating it's going to be a house show type thing where they're going to see a lot of matches, get a lot of action, and then go home and enjoy the day. But then they go to a Raw taping for the first time, and all they're met with is backstage stuff. They're stuck with skits. They're stuck with all this other stuff that has nothing to do with what they spent the hard-earned money for, and that's professional wrestling. So you could do your compelling TV, but at the end of the day, you are a professional wrestling corporation. Now, in terms of compelling storylines, in terms of how you push people, they don't seem to have a clue with regards to how to push people nowadays. Albert, for instance, Matt Bloom, now known as Tenzine in WWE. It's like, for some reason, unless I missed a show, it seems like they didn't really build him up. It's like he comes in, and the only thing I heard was he was a former WWE talent who went to Japan, and now he's here. Now, you have all this footage of Albert from back when he was in TNA. You could even bring Trish in and try to help out, but you could put videos of him as Albert, as Prince Albert, as former Intercontinental Champion, as the Hip Hop Hippo, as all these things, and then you could go with Japan, see what kind of footage you could get from them, piece them together and say, here's a guy that started off here, went and learned some stuff, crafted his trade a bit more, and now he's back to make an impact. But instead, it's like, oh, he's just a former talent who went to Japan, and that's it. Why would I invest my time, or why would I want to watch this guy when that's how you're presenting him to me as? If all he is just a former talent that you can't even bother to mention his name, like I said, if they did mention his name, if they did show anything, I must have missed that week. But it's like there's so much that you could have done to bring him in. So it's like, oh, I remember that guy. It's like he looks different without all the hair. Because, I mean, when he was in WWE before, he had all this body hair that kind of looked like he was wearing a sweater. But basically, if you did it like that, where you showed his past and then you brought it to current, I think people would be more apt to say, that's the guy I want to see. Instead, he comes back and he's kind of sluggish, because I think he's trying to adapt to the WWE style. It's the style that he was in Japan, and it kind of loses a lot of things in the translation. So yeah, if they had built him up that way, then I think he would be much further than he is now. It's just sad. It's like, it's been said many times. If something were to happen to Cena, where would the Federation be? We've already seen Chris Jericho get suspended for 30 days for the incident in Brazil. Check out PW Insider for more information on that if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about. If Randy Orton hadn't been suspended and also with Randy Orton suspended for 60 days due to wellness policy violations, PW Insider, check out more information on that too. So But yeah, after they're gone, I mean, who you really have left? And like I said, and like it's been said many times before by other people, if something were to happen to John Cena, where would WWE be at? It's like all this time you take people, you bring them up, you bring them down, you bring them up, you bring them down, you bring them up, you bring them down. I've done segments on this before. I'm tired of talking about it, but it bears repeating. It's like if you don't get behind your guys fully, if you don't push them all the way, if you pull the carpet out so many times, I mean, I touch a hot stove, I get burned. I'm pulling it away. I put it back on the hot stove. Guess what? I get burnt. I pull it away. And if I'm that stupid enough to keep putting my hand on that hot stove and I'm burning it every time, guess who it bites in the end? Me. It bites me in the end, or in this case, will bite you in the end, WWE, if you don't realize that you have to get behind people fully, all the way. If you're gonna push them to the moon, push them to the moon. Take them all the way that they could possibly go. If they can't handle it or they don't do it, then hey, at least you gave it a chance. At least you saw what kind of mileage you could get out of a person before saying, we're gonna put him here, then we're gonna put him here, then we're gonna put him here, we're gonna put him here, we're gonna put him here, we're gonna put him here. It's just stunning. It's just surprising. I don't know what to say. But yeah, you gotta get behind your people all the way. Saying there's been people that say that it's because of the Brock Lesnar thing. Brock left a long time ago. If you're still feeling bad about that, I mean, get over it. We all have girlfriends. We all have boyfriends that just left us. We cry. We get sad. We learn from it. We move on. But that shouldn't stop what we're doing. That shouldn't stop our business. And that's, at the end of the day, it is a business. I mean, you could take it personally, but it is a business at the end of the day. So you got to give people a reason to watch your show. You really do. You got to give people a reason to watch your show, because if you don't, they're going to turn out on you. Really, in droves. Just my continued 2 cents, and until things change, that's what the opinion is going to be. What else? I had a couple of other things on the mind. Let's see. Oh yeah. No, never mind. Going to the last order of business here. There are 3 new members to my Unsung Heroes Hall of Fame. Myself, I've done ring announcing for SCW, Scott Cannon Wrestling, as well as AAW. It's the federation that's taking Illinois by storm, like crazy. But there have been 3 people that have influenced me and inspired me. The latest entrance, and this segment is going to be sponsored by 1-800 Collect, the cheapest way to save money on your collect calls. What does that have to do with this? Well, first member is Lee Marshall. Now, growing up in LA, Lee Marshall ring announced at the sports arena, and to be honest, every time he mentioned the adorable Adrian Adonis, gave me chills because of the way he did it. The way he presented it was like, wow, I gotta see this match. Second member of my Unsung Hall of Fame is Billy Anderson. Now, Bill Anderson also handled Los Angeles cards. He was instrumental in training such superstars like The Warrior and Sting and things of that nature. But yeah, he was also one of those people that whenever he announced a match, it's like, wow, it's like, this is what that guy is. I'm pumped. I'm ready to watch this. Third member, and really should be in any Hall of Fame, no matter how much you slice it, would be Jeremy Borash. Now, Jeremy Borash, in my mind, is the heart of TNA. He's done ring announcing, he's done all this other behind-the-scenes stuff for that, but when I have ring announced, I've channeled all 3 of them within my style. It's like I pick a little bit from each of them that have made what I do pretty much enjoyable, because it's like, that's what I grew up on, so that's what I conveyed. And each of those put a little something in my head to me, when I grew up, when I was growing up, in the back of my mind, I was like, I thought about being a wrestler, but when it all boiled down to it, I'd rather be a ring announcer. it's like it's like my body, I know, can't take the bumps. I know how my body is in terms of center of balance and all that. I know how my body is in terms of listening to me. But I always wanted to be a ring announcer. I was given that opportunity in Scott County Wrestling as well as AAW, and it's like if I die tomorrow, my dream in being in wrestling has definitely been fulfilled by being allowed to do that. But yeah, with these three people, Lee Marshall and Billy Anderson and Jeremy Borash, I mean, what can I say? They inspired me enough to want to be a ring announcer, carry through with it, live my dream out, and make the most of it. It's like I would go all out here, but where I'm at currently, there's like other people in the house. I got somebody sleeping in on the room and just other stuff going on that I really can't go full throttle here. Might do it on another segment while I'm on my phone elsewhere, but yeah, it's just they instilled in me what was necessary for me to want to be a ring announcer and actually do it the best way I knew how. So to you three guys, welcome in. Enjoy the ride. So that's going to be it for me today. If you want to drop me a comment, you could do so at my email. That's agurry@yahoo.com. You could also follow me on Facebook at Albert Gurrier. You could also like my Facebook page, Slammin Synapses, an OG. You could also follow me on Twitter at Slammin Synapses as well. Until next time, this is Albert Gurrier. Thanks so long. Keep reaching for the stars. And so long from ringside. Good night, everybody.